Good Saturday evening. Welcome to BCP Live. Hi, I am Joey McWilliams, and you are watching a presentation of the Bryan County Patriot. Thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate you stopping by. Our guest tonight is the pastor of the First Baptist Church in Durant, Pastor Garry McNeill, a friend of mine, someone I have known and worked with many times over the years. I was trying to think how many years it's been. And I know, of course, you've had a stint in northwestern Oklahoma for a while, came back here to Durant, to God's country, and right here in Bryan County. But we've worked together. And Garry, listen, I'd say you're old hat at this because you've done broadcasting, you've been in ministry. These are things that you do well. But you know what? You've been on Facebook Live already tonight, so you're an old hat just even doing this. Thanks for taking some time with me.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to be on here with you, Joey. It's a blessing.
Well, listen, talk about, what you've been doing on Facebook Live. We've been going on BCP Live now, and I got to looking back, and I wanted to make sure I got my numbers right. A couple of nights ago, I was talking, and all of a sudden, I realized I may not know what I'm talking about. And I don't know if you've ever had this problem, Garry, where you get midway through a sentence and realize you know what you're talking about and wonder why it doesn't stop you from talking. But anyway, this is episode 36. We have done this for 6 straight weeks. My goodness. And I hope everything's going well. Bryan, if the audio sounds good or bad, please let me know. And I'm going to let Garry talk now because, Garry, you have been on Facebook Live every weekend for a while. Talk about what you've been doing.
Well, it really started, Joey, with the first week that we did not meet in person. We had worked real hard to put together a statement. We'll talk more about our pandemic here in a little bit, but one of the exhausting things as a leader of an organization is you work really hard to get your protocol set up, and it seems like it lasts about 3 days, and then you're rewriting another protocol. So we had just determined, we tried to have church on March 15th. And of course, we had a decent crowd, but we were supposed to be social distancing. And then that next week is when the government asked us not to gather in groups larger than 10 people. And so a lot of people put together a really nice video. And we have a great media staff at our church. And it's not that I didn't have the chance to do that. I just didn't get it done that week. So the first week that I went live from my house at 7 o'clock was really to kind of to put a face with the written announcement that we had put out saying that we weren't going to meet for worship in public. And so really it was me doing something quick to let my people hear my voice and see my face and say, here's what we're doing. And I want to just pray with you over it and all that kind of fun stuff. But what happened, I guess that would have been March the 21st, I guess, that Saturday night. But it was so well received by our people. I think just the fact that it was living room to living room. I think the fact that we had our kids running around, and
right.
Heather and I, neither one of us are. I've done some broadcasting and a lot of public speaking, but no one's ever accused me of being polished. So just that raw element of, hey, is the video on yet? Hey, turn the camera the other way. That kind of stuff. And our kids have wanted to sing some and wanted to read scripture and things, our 4 children. So what started off as really a way to make an announcement that we weren't going to meet in person for a few weeks has turned into something that we've felt like we should do every week because our people seem to really enjoy it and interact.
Well, I don't know, polished or not, I've always thought you do a good job. So I want to commend you on that. And I've heard you speak in a variety of different capacities. So I appreciate what you do. And just having the whole family there with you at times. And I know the amount of people that have been in the shot with you has varied as well. But you know what? I think it's been a good broadcast. And I think I hope your people have enjoyed it because it looks like it's something that's come across well. And the folks watching you tonight already look like they're enjoying you as well. By the way, thank you, Bryan. I'm getting some really interesting feedback in my ear right now. So please let me know if something is different coming out on the other end. I appreciate that. Danny, thanks for joining tonight. Jamie as well. Robert, man, glad you made it in from fishing. Hope you got something today. We're speaking now with Garry McNeill, who's the pastor at First Baptist Church in Durant. right here on BCP Live. And Garry, one of the things that we are dealing with now, you said you would talk about the pandemic, so I'm going to go ahead and get us kicked off the YouTube broadcast right now and say COVID-19 and coronavirus, just because I think those are the magic words that mean I won't get this shared, at least through YouTube. Thank God for Facebook Live. But with this, I mean, that some of these dates are going to stay with me forever. March 12th, when sports pretty much stopped in the United States, and March 26th, when the effect, when the governor's edict really came into effect. And so, you think through this, you've made some adjustments, and how is it all working for you then? How do you feel like it's happening for the church then as they're able to get through?
Well, I said on my one thing I want to say quickly is I said on my little Facebook post tonight going live that there's a lot of talk about how do we reopen the church. And I said, make no mistake, the church never closed. The church facilities have been closed for my church and for the church that you attend and for many of our friends, that go to church. But the church is not closed because the church is made up of people who are filled with the Lord and carrying out his work. So I would say we've made some changes like most churches in the sense that we've continued to offer our services online on Sunday mornings at 2 different times. We've tried to ramp up what I call our push content. I've made sure our staff understands that push content alone is not suffice, I don't think, because it's just a monologue rather than a dialogue. So we've tried to make sure that our small groups and our deacons and our small group life group leaders and all kinds of other leaders have really engaged our people to make sure that we're also pulling their heart and thoughts from them back our direction instead of just pushing content at them. But we've tried to increase the push content. We've added a Wednesday night midweek thing that we do at 6:00. Our youth ministry, our children's ministry, some of our life groups, they've all added content. Our children's minister and education minister, Jim Hodson, has done a morning devotional every morning at 9:00, 5 days a week. So we've increased our push content. But I really think, Joey, the most encouraging thing that's happened so far is that our people have really risen to the occasion. They've risen to the occasion to be ministers, members of the body of Christ, to be ministers and to reach out to each other. So I feel like our group leaders, our deacons, our life group leaders, and many other leaders of different ministries in our church have really given great member care to our people. It's really caused us to kind of awaken to each of us doing our job in the body. So I think that's been a real positive thing.
That is fantastic. Well, listen, I am getting some interesting feedback on my own audio wise, so I want to let you talk a little bit more than I talk, Garry. That doesn't happen very often. Anyway, but no, anyway, one of the things I noticed, and let me bring this up here really quickly as we bring up, hey, there we are. And are you familiar with that website?
Yes, sir. It's Sharp
right.
website, and we have a church app that's the front screen on the church app, I think, as well.
All right. Well, you can find that, by the way, if you're looking for it, you can find that fbcdurant.org, fbcdurant.org, and that's how you find the First Baptist Church website. Now, with that in mind, one of the things that I thought was really pretty cool, Garry, I'm going to scroll down here a little bit so the folks can see this because I thought this was neat. What the church is doing, and as you talked about, the push content, and you're getting the messages out there so that people can continue to be ministered to with the word. But if you look over here on this side, I like this a lot. What you can be doing, and you got, you're giving some ideas about not only, the whole sanitation thing, and I find it very interesting, by the way, that the government's telling us to wash our hands and be clean, things that I was taught pretty much, when I was 2.
That's right.
But they're making a big deal about that right now. Anyway, that being the case, though, but it's not just that. I mean, go out, be diligent, look and see if the people around you need some help as well. And I think it's a great message to your people, and I think to everyone.
Yeah, and that's kind of what our whole point is anyway. I think the way we understand what the church is supposed to be a group of ministers, a a family of ministers, if you will. And so what we're trying to get our people to do within the context of staying safe, within the context of the people who need to definitely stay inside pretty much completely. And then there's another group of people who can be out a little more. And there's probably another group of people who feel really like they're out about as much as they've had to be, as they've ever been. And I try not to, I told our people, I want to take one quick rabbit trail. I told our people, and I want to share that on here tonight because I think it's a good word. I think we need to be generous not only with our resources, time, dollars, prayers, with the gospel. We need to be generous with compassion and understanding to people who perceive this differently than we do. And so, for the person out there who is very, 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 very cautious, to the person who really doesn't see a lot of reason for caution, while I might be somewhere in the middle of those two people, I want to be really generous with graciousness and understanding to the people on different sides of this than me, because we don't always know their backstory. We don't know what has led them. We don't know what child with asthma they have in their home that's caused them to be a lot more maybe militant than their neighbor. And I think that's important for us. We might not understand the backstory of the person with the mental health struggle, who, if they don't see some people, their health is deteriorating quickly in another way that we can't see. So I just quickly want to say, I've really led our people and tried to model being gracious toward people with different understandings of this, different perception of this. But then within that, I'll just add to that what I was originally saying then, with whatever your comfort level is, how can you be a blessing to the people around you with your physical ability and your comfort level? And if that is serving people with hands and feet and making some trips to some places that you think they ought not be, or whatever it might be, that's been our goal through this whole thing.
Well, I think you hit it right on there, Pastor, and that's a good pastoral word, and to reach out. And from the stance in some senses, someone who upholds the word of God and stands in the position that you do, you don't compromise. But there's also that part of it where you have to find that middle ground and recognize that everyone's side, and to try to see things through other people's eyes besides just our own. One of the things that we say here on BCP Live every single night is that we need to be wise. We need to use discretion with our decisions, and we need to not walk in fear. And there's a part of that. Now, I really stress the not walking in fear part, but there's a part of that too where when we're wise, we recognize the people around us and how best to deal with the people around us that may be going through things or seeing things differently than we are. So I appreciate that word. I think that's very good. Well, as we wind down our time tonight, and again, I'm sorry for any kind of audio issues that I are on my end, not on Gary's end. By the way, he's just stellar. And I back with me after this is all over with, Gary. I appreciate you stopping by tonight. But for someone to watch tomorrow, then, and I wanted to give a chance definitely to get it out there to everyone how they can take part in the services for First Baptist in Durant. But if someone were to watch tomorrow, where are you headed with your word tomorrow?
Well, I will tell you, tomorrow we're actually going to have a special guest speaker, Dr. David Whitlock. I was scheduled to be gone to a revival tomorrow over on the west side of I-35. And I was supposed to be in a church near Waurika for a revival. And so David Whitlock, who was the president of Oklahoma Baptist University and has come back to town, is on the faculty at Southeastern Oklahoma State University.
That guy? David who?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No stranger.
Well known in Durant.
Well, no stranger to Durant. But David is a member of our church, and so I had asked David if he would preach for me because I was supposed to be gone. And now I have the privilege of being one of 5 or 6 people that he'll get to preach to live. We have 5 or 6 singers in each of our service. We have a worship band at 11:15 in our choir, at the kind of an ensemble, if you will, in the first service, trying to adhere to the guidelines given to us. And so, but we do ask each of those groups to be an audience for the preacher to preach to. It is an absolute whooping to preach to an empty room, brother. and it's not a whole lot better to preach to 5 people, but it is better than preaching to 0 people or looking at a camera screen the whole time, camera lens. But I've told our people I feel bad for the ones that have been there, because the choir, first of all, they're used to looking at the preacher's back at our church. And so then they get FaceTime. And instead of you spreading out, several hundred people spreading out your looks over the course of 30 minutes, they're getting about 20% of your attention for the whole sermon. So I said, I feel bad if you think I'm preaching right to your soul. And, but that'll be there. I'll get to be one of those people in the crowd tomorrow as Dr. Whitlock preaches at 9 and at 11:15. But the week following, we just finished up a series, and we're beginning a series on the book of Colossians, Paul's letter to the church at Colossae. And we'll start that on the first Sunday in May.
That sounds great. So where do they go to find you then? I mean, they can watch you on TV, but they can also see you online as well.
That's right. So fbcdurant.org has our stream there, pretty easy to see. It'll say watch or stream, pretty obvious when you go to fbcdurant.org. Also, you can look on our church's Facebook page at FBC Durant. And then our cable channel, FBC TV Channel 13 on Vive Cable here in town, local cable provider. And then if you go to the App Store on either Apple or iPhone or Android, if you go to the App Store, we have a church app, and just look for FBC Durant. The app is really handy. Within just a couple of clicks, you can be listening to a sermon of the Word of God, which, of course, you might guess I think is a highly valuable thing to do. So all of those ways you can connect with our ministry. And, of course, there's a lot of other incredible Bible-believing, Bible-teaching churches in our community. I encourage you to hook up with one of them for sure, and let the Lord bless you tomorrow.
And I do want to, by the way, and Garry, we'll stay in touch, but I do want to definitely find out for sure when you all decide to reopen. We do want to, I think next week, and I'll talk about that in just a moment here on the show, but next week we'll be talking about when some of the other businesses and churches and other organizations will be opening back up. So we definitely want to keep up with that and be able to promote that here as well, if you'll let us do that.
That sounds great. I really appreciate that opportunity, Joey.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you for taking time with us here on BCP Live tonight. God bless you, sir. And good service to you and to Dr. Whitlock as well. I'll say this, by the way, and I agree with you just before you leave. I mean, I've preached to 1,300 and more and preached to 13 and less. And the 1,300 and more is easier. I agree with you. It really is easier. And so, yeah, it's there are a lot of folks that are a lot of pastors that are learning a lot about who they are and what it is to really share the word. Make it
Amen. Amen.
Right. Garry McNeill from First Baptist Church in Durant. God bless you, sir, and we will talk with you later.
All right, brother. Take care. Have a great night.
Garry McNeill, by the way, here on the BCP Live broadcast. Now, I'm not sure what is happening with the audio. I can tell you right now, Bryan, stay with me a little bit longer, by the way, if you would here. A shout out to Robert and to Jamie, who are watching tonight too, and appreciate you guys. Danny, let's see. Zach, man, you are the man. I appreciate you joining. And yes, we do love Pastor Garry. He is a true brother. Sean and Paula, Foo, and Jim, thank you, Janice, for joining tonight as well. John, appreciate that, and Jamie. So anyway, Bryan watching from Cole County tonight. So outside of the bounds of Bryan County. I appreciate, Bryan, you being on with us tonight. So anyway, so looking a little better. Okay, that's good. I don't know what's happened to my headphones. So I don't know if you probably see me adjust them like, 15 times a night. And I don't want to I have a set of broadcast headphones that has a little mic that I usually use when I'm broadcasting sports. I really don't want to get that out. So I may have to, invest some more money in some more expensive headphones. That drives Mrs. Patriot so batty because she says I need to spend money on the things that are important, and sometimes I'm a little bit tight. So, anyway, so So we'll be investing a little bit better. If it still sounds good right now, that's great. I really appreciated Pastor Garry coming on, and I meant what I said, by the way. I definitely want to have him come back and be a part of the BCP Live as well. I think that what he's doing is great. It's nice to see him back in town. When I was a youth pastor, my second stint as a youth pastor within Bryan County was at Victory Life, and I was youth pastor for 5.5 years at Abundant Life, and then pastored in Kingston for a while, and then actually came back and was pastoring at our youth pastor at Victory Life for 5.5 years. So it's kind of interesting to have 2 5.5 year stints as a youth pastor. But while I was at Victory Life is when Garry came and was the youth pastor at First Baptist as well, and so we got to know each other there, and I think developed a good friendship, and I appreciate him. And he's right there. First Baptist is located right where I think the epicenter of some of the things I want to talk about is and are, and that's some of the small businesses in Durant. Now, I know we have many small businesses in Bryan County, and I want to promote each and every one of them. And so if we can have more of the business owners and managers and employees from small businesses in upcoming weeks and months, then we definitely want to do that, because we don't want any business to fail through this. Not a big one, not a small one, not a mid-sized one. We want all of your businesses to come out of this, and if it's possible to be stronger, then be stronger. But we want your business to succeed, and we want you to be welcoming through this. So I'm telling you right now, I want the best for you. I am praying for you, and I want you to do well in all of these things. And so, I think about some of the small businesses right there in downtown Durant, because that's where First Baptist Church is located, and Garry's right there in the big middle of all that. And I know that his people are helping out through this all. Well, let's go ahead. Let's stick around just a little bit longer right now, since it sounds like that the audio is okay. And Bryan's given me the thumbs up, so I'm going to go with the thumbs up for the audio. We'll go ahead and run through the numbers really quickly, and then I want to get to the advertisers. I didn't do Friday's advertisers yesterday. Did you like the show from Marshall County? Let me talk about that really quickly. And I know that Robert and Jamie were watching yesterday. A few other people were watching yesterday. And let me tell you my role in yesterday's broadcast. After I came out and introduced, myself and the show really quickly, and then handed it off to Senator Bullard to be the guest host, then I got to produce and technical direct. We had a 2-camera setup. Got to run the audio as well and do a few more things, maybe even be a little bit of floor director along the way. And so I was running a lot of things, looking at, I have 2 monitors right here, and looking at monitors and trying to get it all set up. And I have another piece of software that I'm running to do the 2-camera setup to run through StreamYard. So I'm using OBS and StreamYard at the same time. If you know what that means, great. If you don't, it's no big deal. Bottom line is, I had some windows set up over the comments section, so I couldn't see the comments throughout the day. So Jamie, didn't mean to not respond to your comments. I pulled it up one time, moved the window down, looked really quickly, responded. Yeah, there were 10 men in the room, and then there was me, and I was well back over the way. Wanted to let you know, though, I know that there are a lot of government officials that have been saying, you need to do this, and you need to do that, you need to do this, and you need to do that. I don't think that the group of men, just listening to them yesterday, I don't think that group of men was, I don't think they were the people that were trying to tell us what all to do. I'll just leave it at that. So anyway, all right. So let's numbers really quickly. As of today, 3,193 cases in Oklahoma tested positive for COVID-19. As of today, 2,080 have recovered. That is 112 new recoveries reported. As of yesterday's number, more than 99,000 people in the United States have recovered. Now, we probably hit 100,000 today. I'm going to just go on a limb and say it hit 100,000 today. Where else are you hearing this? 100,000 people have recovered. I know that there have been a significant number that have died, and their deaths have been attributed to COVID-19. Whether or not that was the underlying cause of death, the deaths have been attributed to COVID-19, but we need to talk about the recoveries as well. And so I want to point that out. Nearly 100,000 people already have been reported, and there may be more, have been reported as having recovered. Oklahoma is 34th in the country behind District of Columbia in another number of confirmed cases. 29th in the country in number of deaths. That number is at 194 right now. Again, 6 cases have been reported in Bryan County. That number has not changed today. Durant is in a tie with 10 other cities at 85th most cases in the state of Oklahoma. I had to scroll down a long way to find Durant, 85th in the state of Oklahoma, and is in a tie with 10 other cities for that wonderful distinction. Bryan County is tied for 43rd out of 77 counties in Oklahoma in number of cases. As of yesterday, 637 people had been hospitalized in the state of Oklahoma out of 3,193, period. Those are the most, that's all that have been hospitalized. That includes those who are currently hospitalized, those who've recovered, and those who have already passed. As of today, the 194 deaths, 128 of them had at least one comorbidity. As of yesterday, there were an active 972 cases. There are currently 56,632 COVID-19 collection test kits in the state of Oklahoma. There are at least 210 in Bryan County right now. If you are showing symptoms and you need to be tested for COVID-19, please contact folks. As a matter of fact, not today or tonight because it's Saturday night. Contact the Bryan County Health Department. I know you can probably all say this with me now. 580-924-4285. 580-924-4285. Make an appointment. They will check out your symptoms over the phone and drive by. They have curbside appointments. There are also, of the 56,632 collection test kits, there are 16 ventilators at Alliance Health in Durant. I don't know if any of them are being used right now. There are 16 available. We are not without equipment in our city or in our state. There were 6 new deaths that were reported today. There were also 119 new recoveries reported today. Yeah, that number has dropped, Brian, and I don't know. I'm wondering about that. It looks to me, and I agree with you, it seems like maybe some people have gotten tested. That number was 402 just a little while back. It is now 210. And there were a couple of days, by the way, that the Bryan County numbers were not showing up on the Oklahoma site. So I don't know what happened exactly. Maybe a lot of people got tested. I'm not sure. At minimum, 192, maybe. I don't know. And if that's the case, by the way, let's go ahead and qualify this. If that is the case, and that many people have been tested, and there are still 6 positives in Bryan County, we're either testing the wrong people, the tests don't work, or nobody has it. I still, and by the way, I don't know if I'm buying that or not. I still am of the idea that if they did the antibody tests that they're doing now, not only in Los Angeles County and at Santa Clara for Stanford. So USC and Stanford have both put together studies about the antibody tests, which show that many, many, many people who have not tested positive for COVID-19 have already shown the antibodies that it was in their system at one point in time. Those tests have been run in New York City now, and the numbers are absolutely off the charts as to how many people they believe now have or have had COVID-19 and were asymptomatic, and it didn't hurt them at all. It brings the fatality rate down overwhelmingly. And I believe if someone tested that in Bryan County, I don't think I have that kind of stroke. I don't think that I can get that done. But if somebody who had more stroke than I do could get that done and have a whole lot of random testing within Bryan County for antibodies. I'm talking about for antibodies, not for COVID-19 itself. I'm talking about for the antibodies to see what the population or what the percentage of the population in Durant already has the antibodies. I'd love to find that out. I think that would be so incredibly cool to know. So anyway, that's just out there for somebody. If somebody's watching this and you have the ability to get that done, please go ahead and get that done. Well, it's day 31 of not a lockdown, but a shutdown. But I believe that We are opening back up as of yesterday. I went to Walmart today, and I'm not going to be ashamed of going to Walmart today. I went to Walmart today because the state is opening back up. And there were people out in front that were telling me when I could go in. You let people go in, you wait a little bit, you let some more people go in. They were keeping track of how many people were there. Where I was standing in line, there were little places marked off. You've probably seen this, 6 feet apart. People were acknowledging that. Seemed like a decent trip to Walmart. Okay. I did go by Lowe's as well, and I have been hearing I've been hearing stories about, well, the Lowe's parking lot is packed. And so I went by Lowe's because I need to look at pricing a lawnmower, and I will tell you, the Lowe's parking lot was packed. So anyway, Lowe's is apparently the place to be. That's all right. There were all of the, okay, first, hang on, let me see. Marty, let me get this in just a moment. Brian, the virus may have been out for a while before this all started, just not known. That's what it was, misdiagnosed perhaps. You know what? I think that happened, and there's somebody in my family, I'll just put it this way. Somebody in my family believes that he or she may have already had it and probably had it back in January because had some of those symptoms and, kind of was down for a couple of days, got over it. And so that is a plausible theory, at least in the Bryan County Patriot household. That's for sure. Marty, were most people wearing masks at Walmart? Everyone who was on staff at Walmart was wearing a mask. Not now. And honestly, I really couldn't tell you. I really was looking. We ran out of sugar. I have 3 kids still at home, and I have a lot of little packets of Kool-Aid. And without sugar, that stuff is nasty. So I bought sugar, and I was really, really, really not looking as closely as I should, but I was looking. I did notice the staff. And because of the blue smocks, and every one of them was wearing a mask. So I would say that. Brian, yeah, know of someone having symptoms in December and got over it, and that's the case in the Bryan County Patriot family. There was at least one, if not 2, that were having symptoms that were similar. Now, not dramatic enough to be taken to the hospital or feel like that either person was dying, but had symptoms that were similar to that. So there you go. All right. I wanted to spend a little bit more time with Garry. I want to spend a little bit more time with Garry a little bit later on. Garry is cool. I really like him, and I appreciate him coming on tonight. I want to I'm going to go ahead and ditch the headphones right now since nobody else is on the show at the moment, and it sounds like everything is going okay audio-wise. I want to say thanks to some sponsors here really quickly as we wrap this up. Before I say thanks to the sponsors, let me ask you this. If you remember now, it's been a week and a half. I think it's been 2 weeks since I've asked this question. Do you still remember the 5 freedoms that are provided for in the First Amendment? We're going to talk about a couple more things next week. Do you still remember the 5 freedoms that are provided for in the First Amendment? And while you're thinking of that, let's go to the advertisers and say thank you very much. I want to say thanks to the folks at Blackburn Plumbing and Air, Cherokee Communications, Durant Riding Club. The rodeo is still on the schedule for June 19th and 20th, and that is more than a month and a half from now, so probably we'll stay on that schedule. We'll see. Green Spray. I want to say thanks to folks at Green Spray, at Hub Club Nutrition, Inside Texoma Engraving, Omnicare 365. Shout out to all the folks there. S&L Collision Center, Steubenville Chevrolet, and Workout Anytime. Thank you. And we could not do this without our advertisers and sponsors, and I am very, very thankful for all of them. Well, one of my monitors went out. I had some audio issues tonight. I don't know what's going on, so I'm going to start to wrap this up. I'm looking. Let's see. Okay, a couple of comments. I still have at least one monitor working right. Praise God. Brian, religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition to government you win the prize, sir. Very good. Thank you for remembering and recalling those. Jamie, you did get one of them. I appreciate that. We have some nice parting gifts. Thank you for playing tonight. I don't think we really even have any nice parting gifts, but thanks for playing tonight. Listen, we have a lot of fun here. I hope that you've had fun as well. Yeah, I'm hoping that I'm looking over here at my equipment here on this side and that side. Thank God everything worked well yesterday with the senator, but I need to check on some things here before Monday. Thankfully, there's at least 47 hours before I go on live with you all again. We'll be back on Monday. Even though things are opening back up, we still have a lot to talk about on BCP Live. I appreciate you being with me tonight. I have a very special guest that will be with me on Monday night. And when I post on Monday that the show's coming on, you'll see who the guest is. And if you've never met this guy, I hope you like him. I really do hope you like him. And you might find some similarities between him and me. We'll see how it all works out. So special guest on Monday night. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thank you to you all for watching too. That some of you guys that are with me every night. Brian, shout out to you to Robert and Jamie and so many more that have just been with the show each and every night. And I'm so thankful. So many people that are engaging with the show and the little hearts and the little thumbs up and all those things that pop up every now and again on the other monitor that I can't see right now. And all those things that show up. Thank you so much. You guys are a blessing. And I just can't say enough. But we're going to get some new equipment sometime soon. This, by the way, is the equipment buying season as we've gone into April now. And I know we need to, we need to work on some things, but we start looking toward the fall and sports season. I'm believing sports season is going to happen. I'm believing that sports season is going to happen. And so actually this is the equipment buying season. We're getting some new things for our broadcasts. Midwest Sports Saturday, not that far away. So anyway, all right. Yes, Brian, thank you very much. I appreciate that. God bless you all. I just want to speak a blessing over you guys. I don't ever hide who I am. And I know that sometimes I get thumbs up or thumbs down on that, but it is what it is. But I pray that God bless you all. However it is that you're watching or receiving church or even as Jacob said on Wednesday, interacting with church. And as Garry said tonight, more than just the push content, we need to interact. Whatever's going on for you tomorrow, I pray that you have a good day tomorrow. And I just speak blessing over each one of you all. I am thankful. I'm very, very, very thankful. I told you from the beginning that I had prayed for my children, and then I prayed for the school, and I prayed for the town, and I prayed for the county. And I think, I don't know at the time if I was praying for the state as well, but I was praying over those things for my children, their school, this town, and this county. And you know what? I'm thankful that the number has been no more than 6. I'm thankful for all these things that are around us. We look like we're doing well. Does that mean, again, that we need to run out and high five one another and then push up next to one another in whatever store you're in? No, we still need to be wise, but we're going to get out of it. We are going to come through this and we'll be stronger on the other side. So God bless you all. Be wise. Use discretion. Do not walk in fear. This virus does not determine our future. God bless you all and have a great night. Marty, thank you as well.